Sorry about these interruptions. My phone rang, and my phone is my camera also. So anyway, that temporary riser pipe, it really took a beating, and I need to build a proper riser, but I haven't got around to that part yet. So back to the torture test inspection. So we're going to see what the torture test did, and after 4.5 hours, see if there's any problems anywhere. So there's some fly ash. That's typical. It's not very deep. And I did put some paper in there. Paper makes quite a bit of ash. I wonder what that... It looks like some of the ashes, they look like almost like they're brown. I can't see the wood flying up here. That wouldn't... I don't think the wood would come flying up here. It would have been burnt if it came up the riser. Those must be ashes. I wonder why they're brown like that. Yeah, they're definitely ashes. Huh. Anyway, so there's some fly ash here. That's kind of normal. Let's look at the core. You can see that when I poured the core, there's a couple of voids. I didn't get all the air pockets out around the riser pipe on the second pour. Oh shit. I think I see some little cracks down there in the refractory. Looks like there's some tiny cracks down there in the refractory layer. Let's see if I can get a better shot. Some tiny subsurface, some surface cracks. Hopefully they'll be okay, but I'm not sure. My battery's at 20%, go figure. You can see some spots down there where I had the aluminum tape. I had the temporary riser mold taped to the wooden mold. It looks like some of the aluminum tape is still... There's some... see if I can get in there. I can just pretty much wipe it off with my finger. I don't know why it's still there. I guess it didn't come out. And it's sticking to the core itself. So it doesn't have a good doesn't have quite a good chance of melting or flying out, I guess, but the core itself seems fine. Yeah, I think the core is fine. Some burn marks. I've been told that every casting will crack eventually. I figure it might crack here. I think that's the most likely spot for it to crack, would be right there, but it seems so far so good over here. I'm just going to set you down for a minute here. See if I can set down the camera for a minute. I've got a bit of a rake here if I'm going to rake the ashes back or rake them out and have a better look. How fun was that? Was that fun to watch or what? Anywho, I just raked the ashes out, and that's a pretty small amount of ashes there. I would say that's a small amount for considering what I did. A big log and a bunch of paper and some small logs, and plus the wooden core itself. The ashes from the core itself are here. There's a couple chunks of aluminum tape. I don't know if you can see it or not right there. That's from the aluminum tape that was stuck. It was stuck to the wall. How's she looking there? Sorry if I'm shaky. These lines here are just for ashes. I'm gonna set down my light. These lines here are just ashes. There's some more aluminum tape that never came off for some reason. That's no big deal. I plan on putting a door here someday. I should really get on this stuff. My main concern right now is building a riser. I need to build a riser out of something that's going to take the heat. I'm thinking it's going to be cob and perlite, or refractory cement and perlite. Probably cob. I don't know. I really want to try to work with cob, which is like clay and sand kind of. So I want to try to do that. And maybe if I'm lucky, I can find some clay, some locally found clay right out of the ground, out of the earth. So anyway, I got to build a riser here. And I got to figure out what to do with the bell. I kind of like this wheel. I don't know why. I was thinking I could cement it from the inside here, or put one of those rope gaskets on this bead. I could put a rope gasket all around the bottom bead, and I could weld the bell to the wheel, so seal it here, have a rope gasket down there. I don't know yet. This wheel might not stay. It depends on my riser height and all that. And yeah, I got to figure out a couple more things. But anyway, that's just a quick look from yesterday's torture test. Quick look at the core itself. This wheel is just sitting here, so I could remove it like that. And the ash is not really that much. It's not really that bad. And yeah, I showed you the melted aluminum. This is from the pop can. From the pop can that I threw in and melted. Or 2 pop cans, actually. 2 soda cans. And the stove was not running as hot as it can. It was only running slow on some big wet log. But I think I could definitely melt some aluminum in there if I wanted to. If I wanted to get the stove nice and hot. But that's what's left of that. There's a solidified chunk there. melted and liquefied and solidified. Yeah. So I don't know what else to say. I think it was a good test, and I think this core is okay for now. So I can probably keep working on it and figure out my riser. I gotta build a riser tube, something that's gonna be okay around a lot of heat. Something that can take a lot of heat. And yeah. That's the bell, the heat exchanger, cooktop. Yeah, the paint didn't cook off as much as I wanted it to cook off, but yeah. Well, that's all I can do right now for this episode. And the core seems to be okay. I didn't expect anything less really, but it seems to be fine, and I figured it would be. And it was pretty cool to melt this, or to have this happen, because I have steel. My first rocket stove has a steel riser tube on the inside of the flame path, and I was warned against using steel. It's a lot thicker than this, and it's made from mild steel, my other one, but I'm going to try to stay away from steel with this one. This is a new venture for me, and I'm going to try to have no steel at all on the inside. Once you get past the riser and the cook plate, then it's okay to use steel. They use the steel on the heat exchanger and steel barrels and steel cooktops, steel exhaust, but the riser tube or anything before the riser tube, I'm not going to use any steel inside. So that was a good experiment. I was warned against using steel, and now I know why. So yeah, that's only a thin pipe, but it definitely took some damage. And that was only one burn. That was only a single 4-hour burn. Anyway, that's it for this episode, guys. So check out the next one. Click the subscribe button. Rate the video. And check out my other videos. Have a nice day.